The desert wind, hot and relentless, whipped at Rhys's face as he yanked Amelia behind the crumbling sandstone outcropping. The fissure in the earth, a jagged tear in the landscape, pulsed with an unsettling violet light. The chanting, guttural and discordant, vibrated through the ground, a stark contrast to the gentle lullaby humming from Amelia's lips. "They're gaining on us," Rhys grunted, his hand tight on his revolver. "How much farther?" Amelia stumbled, her face pale and streaked with dust. I don't know. The path it's shifting, like a memory I can't quite grasp." The armored figures, their visors reflecting the harsh sunlight, emerged from the fissure. They moved with unsettling precision, their heavy boots kicking up plumes of sand. They were taller than any men Rhys had ever seen, their armor intricately carved with symbols that seemed to writhe before his eyes. "Vogel?" Rhys barked into his radio, receiving only static in response. He cursed under his breath. "The tunnels are older than Zerzura itself," Amelia whispered, her voice trembling. "I see them now. They're not just tunnels, these pathways. Through time I thinned." She clutched her head, a fresh wave of pain washing over her face. Rhys quickly supported her. A lullaby grew stronger, a shimmering veil of sound that seemed to distort the air around them, briefly repelling the armored figures. "They are connected to the heart," Amelia gasped, her eyes unfocused. "The cycle begins with the opening. A gate and a key." One of the armored figures raised a hand, gesturing towards Amelia. "The key," he intoned, his voice distorted by a mechanical filter. "She must return to the heart." Rhys fired a warning shot, the bullet kicking out sand near the figure's feet. "Stay back!" The figure didn't flinch. Resistance is futile. The cycle demands completion. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted. The sandstone outcropping they were using for cover crumbled, revealing a hidden staircase descending into the earth. The air grew colder, thick with the smell of dust and something ancient, something indefinable. "This way!" Rhys shouted, grabbing Amelia's arm and pulling her down the steps. The staircase spiraled downwards, carved from the bedrock. The walls were covered in the same unsettling carvings as the armored figures' armor-swirling patterns and grotesque figures locked in eternal torment. "Where does this lead?" Amelia managed to ask, her voice strained. "I don't know, but it's better than being captured," Rhys replied, his revolver held ready. They descended for what felt like an eternity, the chanting growing louder with each step. The air vibrated with a palpable sense of dread. Finally, the staircase opened into a vast cavern, larger than any Rhys could have imagined. The cavern was illuminated by an eerie bioluminescence emanating from the walls, casting long, dancing shadows. In the center of the cavern, suspended in mid-air, was a colossal crystal pulsating with violet light. This was the Heart of Zerzura. Standing before the heart, bathed in its ethereal glow, were more armored figures, their faces obscured by their visors. And among them, Rhys saw a familiar silhouette of Vogel, his face gaunt and his eyes empty. Vogel raised a hand, gesturing towards Rhys and Amelia. "Join us," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "Embrace the cycle. There's nothing you can do to stop it." Rhys felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't Vogel. This was something else entirely, something control. "What have you done to him?" Rhys demanded, his grip tightening on his revolver. Vogel's, or rather, the entity wearing Vogel's skin, smiled. "We have merely offered him a purpose, a place in the grand design." Amelia stumbled forward, drawn towards the heart like a moth to a flame. I can feel it," she whispered. "The sonnet's stronger here." The lullaby intensified, the violet light around Amelia growing brighter. The armored figures raised their weapons, preparing to seize her. Rhys knew they were outmatched. They needed a miracle, and he suspected, with a growing sense of dread, that Amelia might just be it.